short time ago, in the present, there lived a newt. He was an ambitious go-getter, and while he may have been a bit of a jerk sometimes, he was generally a good guy. He lived with some fish and a frog in a house filled with plants, as every cult member should. But in a terrarium not too far away, there lived another frog, and this frog was quite another creature entirely. His name was Patrick, and he was Jerry's old college roommate. But despite having the same silky smooth skin as his fire-bellied friend, he has made the tough decision to leave the comforts of his underwater dorm room and take up residence on dry, or should we say moist, land. This is because Patrick belongs to the species Phyllobates terribilis, or the terrible dog frog, and he is not named for his checkers skills, which he is quite good at, mind you, but for the terrible toxicity in his skin. For while we've all heard of the joys of licking frogs, did you know that if you were to lick a frog like Patrick in the wild, you would be dead in about 10 minutes? Yes, that would be a blunder indeed. Fear not Patrick, however, as that sweet toxicity of his wild counterparts derives from a wild diet. No, I'm not talking about a breakfast of cigarettes and bourbon. I'm talking about eating fire ants and the like, and sequestering those toxins in your own skin. But since he's given up his wild ways and become more of a house frog, where the menu is significantly less spicy, Patrick is as dangerous as old Carlos over here, for which we mean only moderately. Raw knowledge. Despite this, we still don't recommend putting him in your mouth. That would be unpleasant for all involved. Patrick lives in a wonderful home. He unfortunately has inherited black thumbs from his mother and has killed every plant he's touched. Thankfully, this story actually isn't about Patrick, but about his on-again, off-again partner, Sara, who grew up working at a plant store and has managed to save many of the plants Patrick has brought home with him from cult meetings. They've planted vines, which seem to have taken on a mind of their own. A few ferns have taken root, stretching up, then up, all the way to their ceiling. And they have even installed a water feature, though the moss has nearly taken it over. Now there are pros and cons of leaving the water and making a home on land. If you breathe air, then you don't need to go to the surface to breathe. You can just kind of sit there, breathing, letting all that sweet air come to you. On the other hand, you have to wait for the rain to get moist, and no one likes dry skin. You wait all day, waiting, trying, waiting, thinking the moisture will never come. But just as you think you're going to end up a little rubbery piece of jerky, you hear a slight rumble, and suddenly there is water everywhere. Rejoice! The great plant in the sky smiles upon you again. Yes, life was good for Sara and Patrick. The days were warm, the nights cool but cozy, and the plants were all growing happily. But one day, a day that felt just like any other, there came the buzz of little wings. The frogs looked all around for the source of the new sound, but nothing was out of place. "Hey," whispered a smooth voice. "Hey." "Who said that?" Sara asked, confused. "Down here, by your feet." And so the frogs looked down, only to discover the smallest fly they had ever seen. Who are you? Patrick asked. I'm just a friend, whispered the fly. A friend in need. How can we help you, little friend? Sara asked, always the kinder of the couple. Well, you see, I am currently in between homes. I saw all your lovely plants through the glass and just felt the need to ask, you think I could crash on your couch for just a few days? We don't really have a couch, Patrick replied. Yes, but we do have lots of moss, which is just as comfy and even more moist, Sara proclaimed. You can certainly crash there for all the time you need. Thank you, my amphibious associates, whispered the fly. I won't be a bother. No bother at all. And so the days went on. The fly kept to himself mostly, going about his business, making phone calls and sending emails, and the frogs paid him little mind. But then one day, Sara happened to hear a hushed conversation. And as she peered around the corner, she saw the fly talking to her sweet Patrick. You know, you have some nice plants around here, but I've seen nicer. I'm very happy with our plants, Patrick replied. They are lush and green, and they make Sara happy, so they make me happy too. Yes, of course, whispered the fly, but you could be happier if you had more. I don't think we need more, Sara interjected. Our beautiful home is full, maybe even a little too full. We couldn't possibly fit more in our space. Yes, hissed the fly, but if you had more space, you could have more plants. And if you had more plants, you would have more happiness. Sara was silent for a moment. Something in the fly's words had begun to burrow itself into her brain. Something small, ground, like a seed. Before long, its roots had dug deep. Well, I've always wanted more, Sara finally replied. Just a few. A monstera, maybe a Hoya, and a pink princess to tie it all together. But where would we find the space? The fly began to rub his little hands together. Oh, I know somewhere, he said. Yes, I know just the place.